Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the GW E100. It's the Tier 10 German SPG. It's located on the eastbourne of Malinovka and it's under the command of randyxx777. Well, this is a fake Arty, I'm afraid. Yes, it never existed. And as far as we know, the Germans had no intention of turning an E100 into an Arty, mainly because Hitler cancelled the E100 tank. They were actually building it and it was mostly completed towards the end of the war, but it was never put into production, and so they never would have actually produced an Arty based on the same hull. So, what can we say about the E100? Well, it's a very, very big Arty with skirts the same as the E100 to protect it from blasts from artillery shells. Its first shell was at a Heshbahn, but it was a bit of a wild shot. Now, you get 30 rounds of ammunition in this Arty, which is a lot compared to the GW Tiger, which actually has either a 17cm or a 21cm howitzer. You only get 15 rounds of ammunition in the GW Tiger. You get 30 in this one, so you get much more ammunition to play with. Looks like he's going for the 705 this time. Let it settle before you fire. Rounds out. Looks good. Oh, he looked away. Oh, we don't like that, so we'll have to rerun that bit there. Yes, we want to actually see the enemy tank hit. You want to see where the shell went to know exactly what the RNG was when he fired. So let's have a look. He aims towards the 705. Lets it settle, lets it dial in. Rounds out. And that was a definite direct hit, no doubt about that. We actually found out it was 330 hit points of damage he did. These shells are capable of 900 alpha, and they will penetrate through 53mm of armor. It is the same 21cm howitzer that you'll find on the GW Tiger. And the GW Tiger was a real Arty. That really did exist. There was only one of them built by the end of the war. Oh, he does it again! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We've got one of these players who looks at the target, fires, and then looks completely elsewhere, so you can't get to see what actually happens. Yes, we've got a few players like that who send in replays. You have to stay with the target so we can see it being hit, to know exactly where it was hit, so that we know if there's any advantage. Now, he's marked the target, saying he's going to hit it again. He fires. Luckily, this time he didn't look away, and we can see the shell actually landed directly on the mantlet. So that guy is going to have a damaged gun right now. So we know for certain. It looks like he's going to go for the 705 again. The guy is taking fire from other tanks in our team, so he's picking up stun assist as well. You can see where the rounds have actually landed. They've all either hit the barrel of the vehicle. He did look away again there, but luckily I managed to hold the camera on the target so we saw what happened. Yes. Okay, he's decided this time round he's going to look up the hill towards the enemy tanks. The standard reload time is 37.39 seconds, and randyxx777, probably got that 777 from the artillery piece, well, he's going to fire up here. He's got 28.85. The shell landed behind the 705, but it stunned the Supercon and the 705 at the same time. Now he's moving, changing position, which is good. And he's changing his position horizontally as well. That's good as well, because you don't want to stay in the same line, because that's predictable. If you stay in the same line with the target, just back away, then there's a good chance that the enemy will work out where you're going. Rounds out. Again, he looked away, but we did see this time round that he actually did get a direct hit on one of the enemy tanks, and he's picked up stun assist off the Super Conqueror and the 60 TP. I think he hit the E5 for 375. He's backing away still. Nice bit of damage off the enemy so far. And those guys are all bunching together, which makes the next shot very easy if you can get it on target. Okay, he's going to go for the corner. No, he changes his mind. He's going to go for the 705 now. Fires the round in, looks away. Well, he splashed the 705 for 210. Oh, and a big hit on stun assist off the Super Conqueror. 654 hit points off that one. One of our guys just hit that guy with a big shell, probably a 155mm, and he felt it. E5's still there. Fires the round in. Again, he looks away, but the E5 was hit. 318. Yes, I'm having to control the camera myself because he keeps looking away when he fires. We definitely discourage players doing that, because otherwise, if you fire at the enemy and you don't even bother to look and see what you did, then how can you tell if the enemy was struck, except for the readouts? Okay, he's going to try and hit. Oh, changes his mind. He wants to splash kill the Super Conk. No, he changes his mind again and goes for the 705. Now, if he can land that shell next to him, instead he's decided to select the 60 TP instead. Okay, he's following the 60 TP. I'm holding the camera on the whatever he's doing. Rounds out the 705. And he did get damage on the enemy. 256 on the 705. Now, the enemy's ahead by one tank at the moment, but we can see that Randy's actually doing quite well. He's got 2,000 actual damage and 2,500 stun assists. But unfortunately, the enemy seems to have broken through our teammates up the hill. He's going to try and fire around into that corner. Oh, he hits somebody. He hits somebody and he critically damaged an M48. So somebody definitely got hit. And the M48's taken the stun assist hit for 398, and he's picked that one up as well. So he's close to 3,000 stun assist off this game already. So it's a very big game. He could get an ace tanker out of this. Lining up the 60 TP. Getting a request for fire on the 60 TP. Fires and looks away again. Let's see that again, because I didn't have the camera on at the time. So we have to roll it back. Okay, so it's aiming downrange. 60 TP. You can see him backing up. We're getting a request for fire from our teammate on the Super Conqueror. He lines the shot up, fires on that spot, and then looks away. And he definitely hits the 60 TP, and we'll see the wreck appear any second. That usually happens. He definitely wiped him out. There he is. There's the wreck. So he definitely got the hit. Now the enemy's backing away from the hill. So it looked like they conquered the hill, but now the enemy is backing away, and they're backing away from our Super Conqueror, who's gone up the hills using his gun depression. And yes, again, we're having to roll this back because he fired and then looked away immediately after firing, so we don't know what happened to the shell. It ruins the video if you look away, so please don't look away after you shoot. Otherwise, you won't get the idea of exactly where the shell landed. Okay, he's going to go for the 705. Fires the round in. Well, it landed alongside the 705, not actually on him. Got 234 from the shot. And the enemy is now backing away, and Randy has changed position. They've lost their 705, just got taken out by our 60 TP, and the M48 Patton gets taken out by the Super Conk, which means now we've captured the hill, and we're now looking for the enemy tanks left in their, or near their cap area. Okay, we've got a Sheridan. Rounds out. He does it again. No, he keeps looking away. Randy, if you keep looking away, you won't give us a video we can use. We're recording this one for you, but if you keep doing that, we can't do your videos if you keep looking away after you shoot. Okay, he's looking for the enemy Arty. Any tracer? There's an Object 261 on the enemy team. There's the Heshbon. Okay, looks like he's going to aim at that guy, but he goes down before he can shoot. And the EBR's just found the Sheridan. He fires the round in. Well, it looks like it landed in the vicinity, but the Sheridan wasn't there anymore. There's 6 tanks up on the enemy now. They've just found the enemy E50. We're not loaded. And there's the enemy Arty spotted. The Object 261, he could go for that guy. He's almost loaded. Our EBR just made a bit of a boo-boo there. Okay. He's going to fire. He fires at the 261. And he kills the 261. He did get a direct hit. And yet again, we're getting no sight of the enemy Arty because he was killed blind. So there's the wreck. It's an absolute monster score so far. The last enemy alive is a Batchat 25 ton. He's on the other side of the estuary there. Oh, and he fires the last shell in, looks away, but the guy's already dead. So the game is over, and it's a victory. Well, here's the end of battle stats, and although I thought it was going to be an ace tanker game, it must have been close. It was a first-class tanker for randyxx777 in the GWE100. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 12. And he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. And that's despite the fact that he actually got 2 kills in that game as well. His win rate was 3,483, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see that he didn't get the highest damage in the game. No, that went to the Super Conqueror, who was having a fantastic game. Up on top of the hill, he got 6,092 hit points of damage. Second highest scorer in the game turned out to be the T110E5 on the enemy team. He lost 3,000, or collected 3,140 hit points of damage. And third highest on damage turned out to be randyxx777 with 3,113. When it came to kills, it was actually the FV215B183, the Death Star. He managed to get 3 kills in that game. 2 kills went to the Super Conqueror, to randyxx777, and to the T110E4 in his own team. And only 2 members of the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill, and those were the T110E5 and the E50M. In fact, only 4 members of their team actually managed to get a kill in the game at all. So, yes, they weren't that great when it came to damage. In fact, we have to say that these guys up at the top here are probably their best players. But when it came to base XP, we can see that the Super Conqueror managed to get 1,231. 1,081 went to the EPR 105, who picked up a patrol duty and a scout because he managed to spot at least 6 enemy tanks whilst they were being damaged and being the only one spotting them, and a scout for getting at least 10 spots at the start of the game. Well, 9 spots rather, and he did get that. 2,956 was his win rate. He actually did a fair amount of damage as well for a scout, but he didn't survive the battle, the EBR 105. But the third highest on base XP was the 60 TP, who got 1,012 base, and he also picked up a steel wall in that battle as well. And we can see down in 5th place is randyxx777 with 907 base, just being beaten out by the TVP T5051. He fired 17 rounds in that game. He would have run out of ammo if he'd been in a GW Tiger, because of course they only carry 15 rounds. So actually it was quite handy that he was in a GWE 100. But of course that meant that he was in a tier 10 game rather than a tier 9. He got 7 direct hits on the enemy, 24 splashes. I think some of those, he was hitting more than 1 tank at the same time because he was dropping a shell in between some of the enemy tanks sitting behind that windmill. 3,113 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. He damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 2, so there's the Confederate. 2,812 hit points of stun assist off 22 stuns. On a free-to-play account, he earned 45,948 credits from the battle, 55,000 for completing a mission, 100,948 altogether, and after a resupply of ammunition and consumables, took away 45,588 credits profit. He got 5 bonds out of that game, and 907 base XP, times 2 for the first victory, 726 for completing a mission, and 2,540 experience points altogether. I suppose at the end of the battle I should say to Randy, try and keep watching your target to see where the shell falls. It's very important to know where the shell falls, because if you can actually see where it actually impacted on the enemy tank, you'll know if they are damaged in one particular area or another. Like that 705 you kept hitting at the start of the game, you kept hitting his gun mantlet, so he obviously was going to have a gun which wasn't functioning properly, and so he was going to be ineffective against your teammates. So it was good information to know that you'd had hit a tank in a specific area, because you might have disabled it, and therefore obviously you want your teammates to actually hit that enemy tank so you pick up the stun assist. But yes, it's a bit disappointing for us as well, because we have to replay a shot if we are not watching or coming out of the aim view to ensure that we see exactly what happens to the enemy as well. So that's why I had to control an awful lot of the shots you took in that game, just so we got to see what actually happened, where the shell landed, if it actually directly hit the enemy or if it just landed somewhere else. That's another thing. You did get a hit that took out one of the enemy tanks, a blind hit. In fact, 2 of the tanks you hit were with blind hits. And in both cases, it appeared that they were splash kills, that they actually killed the enemy tank and the shell landed alongside them, but it did enough damage to actually wipe them out in the process. And we saw the wrecks appear afterwards. So please keep watching after you fire so that we can see where the shell lands, and you can always use your W key or your S key to move about whilst you're reloading and still watching to see where the shell went. But if you don't look at what happens with your shot, we can't do a replay, because we can't do the video, because it's just not interesting to other players if they don't get to see the damage done. So I hope you enjoyed the replay. If you did, please give the video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.